Just before we get into the episode, guys, obviously we're saddened by the news of Kobe Bryant's death, as well as his daughter and others in a terrible helicopter crash. Kobe, NBA legend, a sports icon. I think everyone's a wee bit shocked at the news. In terms of myself, I played 2 sports in high school. One of them, obviously, football. I used to play that every day, but certainly I played basketball from first year to fourth year. And Kobe Bryant was one of the guys, in terms of basketball players that you just looked up to, and pretty much a household name. If you think about basketball, you think of people like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, for myself, Reggie Miller and Allen Iverson, but incredibly sad. I mean, not just as a basketball fan, but certainly as a father as well. His daughter dying is just beyond tragic. I think it's very sad. It's one of those moments where you look back and you say to yourself, how did this happen? But I think sometimes it takes tragedies like this to realise what's important in life, and it's quite sad in a way that that's the case. We have so much negative press in sports in general, and I think it's one of those ones where people come together and say, the guy was a legend, and it's sad that he's gone. We're going to hear a few words from the man himself. Rest in peace, Black Mamba.
Have a good time. Enjoy life. It's life is too short to get bogged down, to be discouraged, or you have to keep moving. You have to keep going. Put one foot in front of the other, smile, and just keep on rolling.
Welcome to the Lowland League Catchup, and we have Shaun back. How you doing, mate?
Aye, good. Glad to be back on. It's been obviously a bit of an up and down last month or so. We getting the pod out, and yeah, it's good to be able to get back on it and get chat through some of the games. How you doing yourself?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. We've got a full fixture list, which is sometimes rare in these because of cup games and postponements and whatnot. But we'll start with probably the result of the weekend: Edinburgh University versus Cumbernauld Colts at East Peffermill. It was only one goal in it. It was Patrick Baird, the 68th minute. But the biggest news is that Edinburgh Uni are obviously off the bottom of the league. Colts were somewhat unhappy by their own admission. Too many individual errors and players off form. I did actually check this one out. I don't know how many people know this, and I'm not encouraging anyone to gamble or anything, but Bet365 cover a lot of the Lowland League games now. So I was looking at a few of the stats, and it looked like Cumbernauld Colts didn't really create much. Edinburgh Uni thoroughly deserved the win, and it's a massive win for them to get them off the bottom.
Yeah, I think Edinburgh Uni are a solid side. They've lacked goals this season. That's been their big crux this year. I think they're defensively they're a team that are capable of keeping other teams out of their end, but they've not been able to put their own goals in the back of the net, and that's held them back a little bit. And today, thanks, like you say, to Patrick Baird, they've been able to get themselves on the score sheet, and they've done a good job of keeping Cumbernauld Colts off. So yeah, they get themselves off the bottom of the table, and it's extremely tight at the bottom as well. So it's a much needed 3 points, I think, at this point in the season.
I mean, I said that in the last podcast relating to Stirling Uni, but I think there's always a bit of an overreaction when certain teams get beat by the Uni teams. I think it's the same with Edinburgh Uni. I mean, we're no stupid on the pod or that. Cumbernauld Colts, looking at the quality of the sides and other teams, most of them should be beating the likes of Edinburgh Uni, but at the end of the day, it's got a fantastic result and a deserved one by what I've seen anyway.
Yeah, and likewise, I think Cumbernauld are going to be a frustrating one. I don't think they're going to be happy that they've gone away with no points in this one, even away from home to a decent university side. They've got some decent players in their squad that they just haven't been able to do the business on the day, so they'll be going back and looking at the drawing board, I think, and looking to ensure that doesn't happen again, because that is a game that they should have won, I think. So next up, I'm going to cover off Civil Service Strollers against Kelty Hearts in the Lowland League. Always a tricky fixture when these two teams meet at Christy Gillis Park. It took 6 minutes for the first goal, and it came from a Linton penalty, who opened the scoring from the spot after Nathan Austin was pushed in the box. Both sides creating their chances in the first half, but went into half time 1-0, and then into the second half, 12 minutes in, and it was another penalty, and again Scott Linton was able to put it away after Donaldson took out a Philp in the box. And 11 minutes later, it was a hat-trick of penalties for Scott Linton, and the Strollers were also reduced to 10 men, so looking a bit dire for civil service at this point. However, in the 83rd minute, Strollers started to mount a bit of a comeback, and they were able to pull one back with their new signing Jaden Fairley heading into the back post, and then on the 89th minute Josh Morris scores, and yeah, it was game on for the last few minutes there, but Kelly able to keep them out in the closing minutes there to come home with the 3 points. But yeah, an excellent bit of a fight there from Strollers. Before we discuss this game, obviously we've got thoughts from the gaffer as Mark McCabe was able to catch up with Barry Ferguson after the game.
Well, Barry, 3 points today, cruising at one point.
Look, there's no doubt this is a difficult place to come. Conditions no great, pitch bobbly and heavy. But look, both teams have got to play in it, and I thought we managed it pretty well. Look, there was no great football played, but we had a way of playing and just getting the ball forward as quick as possible. As you says, up to 81st minute, we controlled the game. We weren't under any threat. And then we concede 2 late goals, which is worrying. I might need to look at my side of it. I made a change in the midfield, but it shouldn't really affect us. I've spoke to the staff and I've spoke to the players about that. If I do change personnel, they should still know if they come on in a certain position what to do. And look, I'll go back and look at it. But look, at the end of the day, it's 3 points. It keeps us still at the top of the league, and that's the main thing.
You brought in Craig Reid during the week.
Yep.
There's been talk online, Nando the way back to Wraith. Is that a sign of things there?
No, the Nando thing might be still ongoing. I don't know. Look, Wraith had every right to call him back. We were disappointed about that. So I've got to think of the club first, and we needed to bring somebody in. We'd only 4 defenders, and I don't like running with 4 defenders. I like competition because I've got competition all over the team, and Reedy was one that identified. He's got experience, he's won the league before, he's played at a good level, and he's a good leader, so he was a no-brainer for me to bring in. And look, we might still look to do another bit of business. It depends if it's got to be the right type to come in, because it's a good group, it's a hard working group, so if the right one becomes available, if it's Nando or another position, I'll ask nicely and see if I can maybe do something.
Well done today, Barry.
Cheers.
Having a wee look into this, I've not saw any highlights for the game yet, unfortunately I couldn't make it along to this one, but I think you were in the same boat. It looks like it's going to be interesting to see these penalties. I think Strollers put out a bit of an interesting tweet about some of the penalties being a bit dubious, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see when the highlights come out, let people make up their own minds on that. At the end of the day, Celtic have done what they needed to do, and they keep up the pressure at the top of the league in what's very close. And after this game as well, obviously Strollers moved down a position in the league as well, so they dropped down to 6th, and they'll be hoping to get back into the top 5 sooner rather than later. What did you think of this game? Quite an interesting one, I think.
Unfortunately, like yourself, I couldn't make it, but I did see the highlights, and I think there is something in the first goal. Certainly the first penalty looked a wee bit soft for me. There's certainly, it looked like Nathan Austin was getting pulled back, but he did go down, I think. I think it was quite soft. The second one for me was a penalty. Donaldson just wipes out Ross Philp, and you know, in fairness to Roscoe, I think you know this as well, he's not the type of player to just go down easy. The third penalty is more debatable, I think. It looks like sort of Linton sort of tries to put the ball over the defender. The defender kind of puts his leg out. I don't know how much contact there was because of the angle, because the way the camera is, it's like Linton's back's to the camera, so I don't know. I mean, it looked like a penalty. If there was any sort of contact, it was a penalty, but certainly there's a wee bit of history with civil service Strollers, and certainly the top teams in the league with penalties. I think examples, obviously BSC Glasgow, they were pretty much shocking decisions, but certainly the first penalty was a wee bit soft, and that early in the game it can be a bit frustrating, and I think Strollers, given the bookends and the sending off, they probably were a wee bit aggravated at that sort of thing. And obviously 3 penalties it does seem a lot on the, you know, in one match. And from a Kelty point of view, obviously it's another fantastic away result in a difficult game, you know, at Christy Gillis Park. But I think Barry probably will be a wee bit disappointed that they sort of took the foot off the gas and conceded 2 goals late on. But yeah, Kelty march on. Civil Service Strollers, they'll be eager to get back in the fight with Spartans for the 5th place that they lost out. Moving on to Caledonian Braves versus BSC Glasgow at Alliance Park. It's more debatable penalty decisions. I noticed it's a bit of a theme this weekend. BSC took the lead on the 24th minute. It was a BSC corner from Declan Hughes. It finds its way across the box into the path of Martin Green, who has time to control it and pick his far side of the goal. It was a fantastic goal from Paulo, put it away really well. The 34th minute, it was a goal for Caledonian Braves. Neil McLaughlin hits a fantastic strike inside the near post on the volley. And here we go again with penalties. Just before half time, Caledonian Braves did put out the highlight for this, and to me it was very, very soft. It wasn't a penalty, but you know, it is what it is. 45th minute, Declan Hughes converts the penalty after Marshall guessed the right way. Going into the second half, BSC really took charge. The 77th minute, it was low to the keeper's left. Declan Hughes at the double. It was another penalty. They didn't release this one, so I don't know how soft it was. And on the 80th minute, BSC sealed the win. Fantastic work by Jamie Hamilton to ferry the ball into Thomas Collins, who finishes for a well-deserved goal. 4-1 BSC Glasgow. We do have an interview with Ricky Waddle with Roy Campbell.
So yeah, I suppose at this point, 4-1 defeat today. What was your thoughts on the game?
I'm disappointed to get beat, obviously. Certainly there was good things we could take for the game. At the end of the day, we're sitting here with 0 points. I'm disappointed a bit with the officials, to be honest with you. I think 2 penalty kicks. I don't think they kept up with the game, to be honest with you. It's maybe something they need to look at themselves. But if you're getting away 2 penalty kicks, I thought the first one was soft. I need to see it again, but you're going to give it. It's going to be difficult to go and win any game if you know you're 2 penalty kicks down. Right away, you know.
Yeah, disappointing to get beat, but I think we all can agree that the first half we were in it, we matched them well. We were disappointed to go in losing because of the penalty kick.
Yeah.
A minute before the half time. So, what was your thoughts on that? I thought we played really well in the first half, matched them well, and were organised defensively.
Yeah, defensively we were really organised. We worked really hard in the week, shape wise. But it comes down to individuals and what we do. The third goal, we missed probably 3 tackles, 3 opportunities to go and either win the ball, no steal it, but win it properly, or foul, or stop them from attacking and progressing. And that's something that they didn't do well in that particular spell of the game. But shape-wise, organisation was good. We nullified their threats. A couple of times they go long early to Greehan and they work off into good areas really, really well, and the guys defended that part of the game relatively well. So that was good. I think we didn't create enough. I think it was part due to kind of matching up shape-wise a little bit. I would like to have kept the ball 2-3 passes. Anytime we did do that, we started to open them up. Made a couple of passes for our first goal. A couple of other times we created opportunities by being better on the ball. But I'm not going to stand here and say we deserved to win the game. I thought there was elements of our shape was good and defended relatively well shape-wise, but individually, you got to ask the individuals, and I did ask them in there, why would you choose to try and steal the ball instead of actually properly win it and make a tackle and be aggressive in there? So either they've not got that in them to do that, or they're not willing to do it, and obviously that's going to have a consequence.
You were saying about not creating a lot of chances, but it was a quality moment from Neil to score that goal. It was a great finish from.
Quality ball from Rudy, quality ball from Sinky. Quality finish, fancied Neil as soon as he gets that wee opportunity. half off his marker and gets his strike away, and we're capable of that. Never created enough of that opportunity. Lacked quality from defence to middle in terms of on the ball. I thought Dom Slattery was really good in the game, really good. So I'm pleased for him. But BSC are a good side. They've had a bit of time to build up their squad. They're obviously flying high in the league, flying high in the cup. So fair play to them.
We obviously want to thank Ricky and Roy there. I think it was a deserved win. I think despite the penalty, I think BSC, the consensus was that they were kind of well on top. The penalty just before half time, that kind of kills their momentum. If they had any chance in the game, I think if that doesn't happen, it could have been a different game. But as I mentioned, I think BSC were the better team from what I've heard.
Yeah, I think when BSC put their foot down on the gas, they're quite capable of running away with games a little bit like they have done on this occasion. This is one where I did get to have a look at the goals, and there was a few peaches. I was really well taken goal by Cali Braves there to equalise as well with the second goal in that one. But yeah, BSC they're keeping the momentum going. They're keeping pressure on the top two teams in the league as well. They look a wee bit behind, but they've got their games in hand there. They're still alive in a lot of cup competitions as well, so a lot happening with BSC at the moment. Hopefully they can keep it going with that volume of games that they've got going on ahead. But yeah, they're having a fantastic season by all means.
Yeah, obviously the Scottish Cup was a fantastic effort by all at the club, and they're going to obviously be on BBC. It's either going to be Friday or Sunday. It's either Dundee United or Hibs.
Yeah, it's Dundee United on Friday, Hibs on Sunday, depending on the outcome of the replay.
Fantastic effort from all at BSC really, and yeah, as you say, they're not quite out of the title picture yet, but Bonnyrigg and Kelty seem to be sort of grinding out results as well, so it's going to be difficult. But the big news this season for them is obviously the Scottish Cup.
Next up in the Lowland League, we had Vale of Leithen taking on East Stirlingshire. And it was 26 minutes in. It was Jordan Tappin who was able to finish from the edge of the 6-yard box after a clever Bobby Barr free kick beats everyone and bounces off the post, and Taps was there to hit in the back of the net with the rebound to make it 1-0 to East Stirlingshire. In the 50th minute, it was another goal for East Stirlingshire, a penalty this time. It was Shaun Brown who was apparently manhandled in the box, and Andy Rogers converting from the spot. And on the 69th minute, Andy Rogers hits the woodwork for the third time as he sneaks in and steals the ball, heading for the keeper, only to see his shot yet again come back out off the post. And then on the 70th minute, it was the third goal for Shire as Andy Rogers does all the running and Bobby Barr comes in late and rounds the keeper to make it 3-0. So a fairly convincing win there for East Stirlingshire. Also worth noting that was Barclay's 58th clean sheet, and that's the most in Shire history. So a little bit of credit where credit's due there for the Shire captain, and Andy Rogers also closing in on Davy Alexander's record for most Shire goals as well. So he keeps knocking them in. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can achieve that feat over the next year or so. But yeah, pretty convincing win for Shire. Again, they're cementing their place up there in the top three. They've played a few more games than some of the teams around them, but at the end of the day, they continue to grind out wins and quite convincing wins here as well.
Yeah, it's a kind of routine win for East Stirlingshire, I would say. Obviously, good bouncing back from the disappointing defeat to Stirling Uni, but yeah, my worry is obviously Vale of Leithen. They went back bottom of the league, and yeah, it's not looking great for them. It's very, very tight at the bottom, and I've not really looked ahead for the fixtures, but it's something we might have to do because it's going to be a struggle for a lot of these bottom teams, and I don't see the places changing too much. And yeah, Vale and Edinburgh Uni have certainly been the worries for me this season.
Yeah, I've had a wee nosy, especially around Vale after seeing they drop to the bottom of the league table, but those guys are certainly the ones with the biggest challenge I think ahead of them. They've still got a couple of games against the teams in the bottom 4 out of their last 9 remaining games. They've still got to play Gretna and Dalbeattie Star at home, but then they've got seven games against teams that are outside those bottom 4, and they're also holding the worst goal difference as well. So if it comes down to points, which it very well could, they could see themselves at the bottom of the league on goal difference. So yeah, they've certainly got the biggest mountain to climb over the last third of the season.
And obviously congratulations to Stirlingshire back to winning ways, and as you mentioned, Jamie Barclay, we've met Jamie Barclay, fantastic guy. Met Andy Rodgers too as well. Also I think Adam Murray, who I've actually been really impressed with Adam Murray recently, and all in all I think including friendlies he's 100th appearance for Shire, so quite remarkable records for a lot of these players at East Stirlingshire. So moving on, we go to Berwick Rangers versus East Kilbride, and another debatable decision, and not a penalty this time, but in terms of the goal, it was at Shieldfield Park. First half, it was a suspicion of handball as East Kilbride take the lead through Craig Malcolm. I noticed something actually a wee bit different. I don't know if you spotted it as well on Twitter, but Berwick have redone their graphics. I don't know if it's someone new, but they done an opposition goal graphic. I've never actually seen that. First time I've seen that actually. I quite like it actually, but second half, East Kilbride sealed the win. Kieran McGrath grabs a second for EK following a mistake at the back. East Kilbride obviously 2-0 winners. Really decent win on the road to Berwick Rangers. Berwick Rangers, I think they were a wee bit aggravated at the goal. I think there was a lot of sort of suspicion around whether it should have been a handball. But I've noticed it more and more. There seems to be a bit more complaints. I don't know if it's because we're coming towards the end of the season now and it's getting a wee bit tight for a few teams, but I have noticed that refs kind of keep popping up on a weekly basis for certain teams, complaints about officials. Have you noticed that, Shaun?
It's always something that's going to be a bit prominent, especially at this level where you've got a lot of these referees are running their stripes a little bit. There seems to be a few more mistakes than maybe what you're used to seeing on Sky Sports News and what have you. But yeah, frustrating for the teams. But do you know what? I think these referees' decisions, it can go both ways at the end of the day, and that's what we've got to bear in mind. As far as teams getting singled out, I don't think anything like that happens in the league. So yeah, there's definitely some frustrating decisions. I think there always has been at this level, but at the end of the day that can go both ways, and teams are capable of winning matches out with that, winning and losing.
When I mentioned the sort of strollers thing earlier, it had just been apparent that there had been a few soft penalties. I don't think strollers are really getting singled out, like you said. I don't think there's any teams that are really getting singled out, but I'm a firm believer that even refs should be held accountable for their mistakes as well, and I think it's something that really needs to be looked at if there is a ref that is underperforming. It's the same with players and managers. They get a lot of stick, on results. I think refs should as well, depending on the decisions.
Yeah, I don't know a great deal of what happens behind the scenes with referees, as far as when they do make their mistakes, as far as retraining or what have you goes, but yeah, at the end of the day, I still think a lot of it is in the hands of the teams. You even look at a team like Strollers, that's something that should be on their radar if they're conceding penalties. It might, there might be soft penalties that can go either way, but if you take, for example, the first one where Nathan Austin was brought down, you've got to just watch some of your actions. If you're pulling on the shirt and you're offering the player the opportunity to maybe go down a little bit softly, that's sometimes something that the teams have to look at. I definitely think referees, 100%, they should be accountable for their actions, and hopefully there is something behind the scenes that goes on there, but they're only human. They're going to make mistakes, same as players and managers do week in, week out. I think the referees, I think it should be part of your planning for a game. You should know your referee, and you should, I think you should just watch sometimes some of the things. I think sometimes people like to walk the line a little bit too closely and then get a bit frustrated when things don't go their way. So it's just one of those things. Referees part of the game, and their mistakes need to be taken into account as well when you're game planning, I think. So next up we've got a battle between Gallifreydine Rovers and Gretna. I don't know if you'd call this one a Borders derby again. We'll leave that one up to the debate of the guys on Twitter, but it was a goal for Daniel Smales after 3 minutes, and then a Xander Murray equaliser levelled the scores at 1 each. Mark Berry after the 27th minute though gave Gallifreydine Rovers the lead. Xander Murray after the 37th minute made it 3-1, and just before the end of the game in the 84th minute it was Levi Kinchant that made it 4-1 to Gala Ferrydean Rovers, and thus ending Gretna's wee run there of 3 games unbeaten that's helped lift them off the bottom of the table over the last month or so. And for Gala Ferrydean Rovers, it's a bit of a return to winning ways, and they've had a few ropey results over the last couple of months as well. So it's good to see them get back to winning ways.
I had a wee check of this, the sort of stats and whatnot. I think it was a very open game. I think the difference was that sort of Gala took their chances. I saw Gala recently against Kelty. They were really impressive. I've kind of been fond of Xander Murray. I think he's been quality. He's back to scoring goals, obviously. So it's looking good for Gala at the moment, actually. You know, and Gretna had been beaten 4-1, obviously. Not an easy result to take, but given the chances that they had, or certainly from what I gathered, it could have been a 4-1 result the other way. It had their chances went in. So a very open game. Disappointed probably at the loss, and Gala do go back to 11th over Berwick Rangers as well. So that's quite important for Gala. Gretna, they're looking like they're in the relegation sort of fight now. Is a wee bit concerning, but given the performance, for me, they've probably got more in them than the rest of the bottom 4, I would say.
Yeah, most recently, because they're sitting on 11 points. If you roll back a month, though, they were sitting on I think 6. So, you know, they've had certainly current form. They're probably one of the more promising sides out of the bottom 4 there. And for Gala, you know what, like 11th is going to be one of the weaker finishes if they finish about there come the end of the season in the Lowland League. But after their pre-season, things looked a little bit, you know, there was a lot of change within the club, and they were setting up for the future. I think they'll be quite happy with sort of finishing anywhere between probably 9th and 12th, anything sort of that lower half mid-table. They'll be quite happy because they're definitely a side that are looking to build for what's going to be a strong Lowland League over the next few years.
So moving on to Dalbeattie Star versus Bonnyrigg Rose at the Islecroft. At half-time, it was all square at the interval. Rose with the majority of play-in chances, but they couldn't find a way through Star's disciplined defence. It kind of all changed in the 67th minute. Ian Anderson shown a straight red card, so Dalbeattie were down to 10. I've noticed this a wee bit recently with Dalbeattie Star. They have had a few sort of sending offs, and it always seems to be their sort of strikers. Dean Brotherston's had a couple, and then now Ian Anderson. It's a bit strange, but I do believe it was he had already been booked, but the ref gave him a straight red, and I think it was a bit of a sort of straight leg tackle, and it looked like it could have been a bit of a worrying one for Bonnyrigg Rose, but they did get a goal in the 84th minute. Kerr Young heads in from a Curry corner on his return, or it was an own goal, depending on who you ask. I think Dalbeattie are claiming it was an own goal, and Bonnyrigg are claiming Kerr Young scored it. But yes, it's another one where I think Kelty and Bonnyrigg both grinding out results. It's getting a wee bit tougher, always gets tougher towards the end of the season. Boys aren't as fresh as they were at the start, obviously, and it just seems like Bonnyrigg and Kelty, just despite maybe not playing their best, or they're coming up against teams that are maybe sort of sitting in, they're both grinding out results.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? Like, I got a text message from a Kelty supporter, I think about the 70th minute, saying, you know, screenshotting that 0-0 score, and I thought to myself, you know, I think Bonnyrigg will do what they, because they've had a few games like this where it's been looking a little bit like they might drop some points, and they do really well in those final 10 minutes to make sure they come away with 3 points. And I wasn't surprised when they were able to do it here. But Dalbeattie, I think credit where credit's due. They've done phenomenally well in this game. They might be going up against a Bonnyrigg Rose side that's perhaps a bit tired because they're playing so many games at the moment. But you know, to take it to 0-0 for 80 minutes against a team that's having a phenomenal season as well, I think they did really well there. And yeah, they'll be a bit frustrated that they perhaps let themselves down a little bit with the red card there. But no, at the end of the day, like you say, Bonnyrigg continuing to do what they do, same as Kelty, and I don't think you can kind of BSC there. They're keeping the pressure on and making it for a really interesting sort of final third of the season.
we obviously can credit the likes of Gretna and Dalbeattie for their performance over the last few weeks and that, and certainly this one, obviously for Dalbeattie, they've got Kelty coming up at the Islecroft, and I think that'll be another one that they'll hopefully for themselves hold Kelty back. But we can really say that performances have been great, but both of them really need to start picking up points. In all honesty, I think we have to say that.
Yeah, no, it definitely. I think it's definitely making for a really good season, though, I think, within the league, the way that it's shaping up here, because we've had a few years where you've been able to tell pretty early on who's getting relegated. Last season we saw East Kilbride running away with it a little bit, took a wee bit of the sting out of the competition, and with Whitehill at the bottom, I suppose, as well, whereas this season, do you know what, it's still at least three teams that are in it for winning the league, and there's four teams that could see themselves go down into a very tough East of Scotland Premier League, so they do need to pick up the points in this one more so than any other season, I think, because it's just so competitive at both ends of the table.
Yeah, and just before we move on to our final game, Shaun, obviously we have to mention Whitehill Welfare. They got a clash result against the league leaders, Bo'ness United. I wasn't quite expecting that one, but thoroughly deserved from Whitehill. Definitely another eye-opening result at the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how much it's got to do with Bo'ness's upcoming fixture. I don't know if they were resting players or not, but if they weren't, Bo'ness, they're dropping points there, and it's a few days before they go up against Bonnyrigg Rose in the Cup, which I think is a game that everybody's really looking forward to seeing, to be honest. So yeah, credit to Whitehill though, bouncing back against a really strong, Bo'ness are dominating in that league right now, so yeah, well done to the excellent league team there. So next up we've got a match up at Ainsley Park between Spartans and University of Stirling, and it was 22 minutes in before there was a goal, and it was a Stramash in the penalty box with the ball eventually hammered home by Craig Brown. In the 55th minute it was Chris Geddes that got the long ball, drives it home after a good save from the keeper, and shows great reactions to bury it. Putting up on Twitter, I don't have a picture, though we are really all mentally scarred from the celebration, to be honest. So yeah, Chris Geddes finally getting his goal there. 59th minute it was a goal for Spartans to make it 2-1. It was Bolo with a close range header, and then the equaliser came in the 66th minute. It was a poor clearance from the uni keeper, and the ball is worked to Jack Smith, who fires in the equaliser, and then Spartans finalising their comeback in this one in the 89th minute. It was Blair Atkinson at the back post who knocked it in to make it 3-2 to Spartans. So yeah, I suppose for the larger part of 60 minutes there, it was University of Stirling who were dominating at Ainsley Park. It looked like Spartans were going to drop more points at home, but a fantastic comeback in the last sort of half an hour there from Spartans against a really good side to pick up the 3 points. Before we discuss any further, we've got Chris Geddes' thoughts taken by Lewis Fraser after the game.
Chris, disappointing afternoon, 3-2 loss. Do you think it's a fair reflection in the game?
I don't think we deserved to lose. Spartans were good today. I didn't think we deserved to lose, and then obviously to lose so late on was really disappointing, because obviously we defended corners really well in the game, and then to lose like that at the end is disappointing. But if you don't defend corners right, like we did twice there, then that's what happens.
Good start to the game, went 2-0 up, good finish from Craig, and then a good goal from yourself.
Yep, obviously it was really just a kind of ball bouncing around the box, a really good finish from Craig to go 1-up at half time, and we were nice and steady at that point. We were playing well, and then obviously Spartans came out and tried up at second half, and then we got a breakaway goal again, and yeah, 2-0, and that's when things kind of went wrong. And I'll look at it myself, because obviously I took myself off, and it did. We kind of lost goals, 2 goals in the next 7 or 8 minutes, and in hindsight I maybe should have stayed on for a bit longer, but I thought I was doing best for the team, and ultimately it's maybe cost us.
And Ben, were we disappointed with the mistake? But if it wasn't for him, he might have been out of the game a bit sooner. Great saves.
Yeah, he's just sliced a kick, but apart from that, he was outstanding today. I thought for an 18-year-old goalkeeper playing at this level, he's impressing everyone. So he should keep his head up, and obviously all the boys will as well. But it is really disappointing to lose so late on.
Cheers, Chris. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Lewis.
So as always, we'd like to thank Lewis Fraser for picking those up and Chris Geddes for giving us his thoughts on the game. This seemed like, do you know what, I think you were right, Edinburgh Uni was the result of the weekend there, but I think this was probably one of the games of the weekend, with Spartans mounting a comeback and leapfrogging Strollers in the league to 5th place. It sounds like it was well, if you're a Spartans fan anyway, it was a fantastic game to be at, I'm sure.
Going by Chris Geddes' comments, I think he's obviously disappointed at the result. I think the way he said it, I think Stirling Uni at least probably deserved the draw, but Spartans, and credit to them, they went out and got the win. Obviously, Jack Smith, he's been injured most of the season. It's good that he's sort of in amongst the goals the last few weeks. So, full credit to Spartans for going out and getting the win. It's another similar to Bonnyrigg, obviously a last gasp effort to get the win, but they pulled it out, and well done to them. So moving on to next week's fixtures, as you alluded to earlier, Tuesday's night's fixture, Bonnyrigg Rose versus Bo'ness United at the Football Nations Qualifying Cup. The kick-off is 7:45 at New Dundas Park. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I'm not too sure if I'll get to the game, but it looks an absolute cracker on paper. Bonnyrigg Rose obviously doing fantastically well coming into Lowland League, and Bo'ness United, who no doubt would want to be in this league next season. Yeah,
I'm in the same boat as you. Weather permitting, I'm going to try and get the bike out and get along to this one on New Dundas Park, because it's just something a bit special, I think, by this coming up in this game, because it's a team that we'll probably going to see in the Lowland League. Possibly Bonnyrigg are still going to be in the Lowland League, so it's a little bit of a preview of what's to come next season. And we've been harping on about it for a wee while, how the league's going to get stronger and stronger, so it's going to be really good to actually go along, and it's always good to go along to New Dundas Park and see Bonnyrigg Rose, but it's going to be particularly interesting to see how Bo'ness United fare in this one. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. It's one where, if we're sticking to our predictions, I expect Bonnyrigg Rose to be able to do the business and probably prove a little bit too strong, but I don't know a huge deal about how Bo'ness United are going to fare in this one, so I'm not going to completely write it off, because we saw it last season with Bonnyrigg Rose, who were dominating the East of Scotland, and they came and they beat the likes of East Stirlingshire, so it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. So really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think Bo'ness United have a very strong team for the East of Scotland, and I think even for the Lowland League, I think if they are in the league next season, I think it's between them and Hillabeef. I think Hillabeef could. I've got a few games in hand over them, and if they win, if they win them all, I think Hillabeef to go top. But certainly Bo'ness United are a strong outfit, and I think if they are in the Lowland League next season, will do similar to Bonnyrigg. I think they'll certainly be a top team. Moving into league games, we do have a 2:00 kick-off, so we'll start with that. It's Civil Service Strollers versus Gretna 2008 at Christy Gillis Park. Gretna, I think we've mentioned it, obviously they've improved. They're certainly creating a lot of chances from what I've seen, and obviously the fans are quite happy with the football. Not so much the results. I think there's improvement there that can happen, but Civil Service Strollers, for me, I think they go in as favourites, being at home, and I think they'll be aggravated that they lost out to Kelty, and I think they'll want to get back to winning ways.
Yeah, I don't think there's a worse time for Gretna to be going up to Christy Gillis Park, to be honest, because you're right. I think Civil Service Strollers are going to be reeling a little bit, especially after coming so close to pinching a point at the weekend there. I think they're going to come out and it's going to be a bit of an angry Strollers side, to be honest. But when they write Gretna off, their recent form has been quite it's been good. So I wouldn't totally write them off, but I'd have to give the edge to Civil Service at home as well.
BSC Glasgow versus Berwick Rangers, we're into the 3 o'clocks now at the end of the drill. I think BSC Glasgow, are favourites for that one.
Yeah, I think so. Strong side. They grind out results, and they seem to do it quite convincingly. Berwick Rangers making the quite a big travel up into Scotland to see BSC Glasgow up in Alloa. So yeah, I think BSC should be able to do the business in this one and keep the pressure up.
This one's more difficult to call, because I think Cumbernauld Colts have struggled against the sort of the bottom sides that I've noticed anyway. Obviously with Gretna and obviously more recently with Edinburgh United, they're at home at Broadwood against Vale of Leven. For me, I actually think they'll even have a chance at this, given the fact that Colts are in a wee bit of a downward at the moment. I know Vale, they've not been great either recently, but I think Vale could get a result there. But it depends what Colts turn up. Colts have got a decent side on paper, but they really need to turn up and win this if they've got any intentions of just getting a wee bit of pride back, I think.
Yeah, I think I would have to side with the Colts purely because they are the stronger side on paper, but they need to get their head back in the game after the weekend results there. And Vale Lee, then, do you know what, they're probably going to come into this one with a little bit of fight because they're sitting at the bottom of the league and they know that Cumbernauld Colts can be vulnerable, which won't be great for Cumbernauld Colts fans to hear, but at the end of the day they put themselves in that position where Vale Lee are probably going to go into this one with a little bit of belief in themselves. They've only got the 9 games remaining, and some of them they're going to be too difficult, I think, to take any points. This is one of them where they're going to be sitting thinking we could pinch a point here or possibly pinch all 3, so they're going to come out all guns blazing, I think, but I'd still give the edge to Cumbernauld Colts.
Kilbride versus Gallagher-Dean Rovers at K Park. This is another interesting one, given that Gala have kind of been impressive the last few games. They were impressive against Kelty. East Kilbride, obviously, coming off that Scottish Cup defeat to BSC, they did get back to winning ways, but I think this is another one where Gala will be looking to come to K Park and maybe get a result.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worrying times at East Kilbride at the moment. They just keep seeming to take blow after blow off the pitch, and I think this is one that, I'd be there with you. I think Gallagher-Dean Rovers are, they're a team on a bit of a mission at the moment, and that East Kilbride, they're not the same team that they were last season, so it's hard to see them being unbeatable at home like they were. So I think I'd give the edge to Gala at this one as well.
East Stirlingshire versus Dalbeattie Star at Falkirk Stadium. Dalbeattie Star, I worry for them a wee bit of this game. I think Shire will go in as favourites. I noticed that Richie Maxwell's been playing the gaffer, so I don't know if he'll get himself in the squad. I don't know if it's a numbers issue. I think Dalbeattie have a bigger squad.
Suspensions.
Suspensions, injuries probably, but certainly Shire go in as favourites for me, but I think there's a wee bit of history between these two teams. I don't think they like each other very much, so it could be a fiery game in that one, and it depends what happens during the game, and we'll wait and see. But Shire favourites for me, I think.
Yeah, not only favourites, I think Shire will knock a few past Dalbeattie in this one at home. They'll be looking to win this one quite convincingly. I think a bit of a statement game for them, I think. Edinburgh
University versus the Spartans at East Peffermill. I would love to say Edinburgh Uni, as my favourite, given the result, but I think it's going to be tough against Spartans, because Spartans, we've talked about resurgent teams over the last sort of few months, and I think Spartans are there as well. I think we can say that they're a wee bit resurgent. It's a bit of a bad fixture to come back, off a win. Because I think Spartans will go in and they'll want 3 points there at East Peffermill. Yeah, I think the issue which we kind of discussed a wee bit earlier with Edinburgh Uni is their ability to score goals. Spartans don't really have that problem. I think when they drop points earlier on in the season, it's because they only scored 2 or 3 versus 3 or 4 from the opposition. So Spartans can put goals away, and Edinburgh Uni struggle to. So I think Spartans should win this purely based on the fact that they're going to score more goals than Edinburgh Uni. Kelly Hearts versus Caledonian Braves at New Central Park. I'm actually looking forward to this one. I got on with the Braves quite well. I'm looking forward to seeing them again. I don't think they'll win though. I think Kelty are favourites. I think we've mentioned in it, it's obviously been discussed, but I think Cali Braves have a defensive lapse in them, and I think if you're up against like say Nathan Austin or Dylan Easton or any of these sort of players, then you're gonna get punished if you're slack against the quality of Kelty.
There's teams out there that have got the formulas in place to cause the likes of Kelty a problem, but I think with Cali, for all their strengths, one of their weaknesses remains their sort of back four and how they shape up defensively in some games, and that's the type of teams that Kelty seem to capitalise against. No different on Saturday, to be honest.
I mean, I've mentioned it before, and I don't want to oversell it obviously, but certainly they've got good defenders. I think it's just the reactions sometimes they're just a wee bit too static for me. And it's easy to say that, it's easy to criticise. I know Ricky had said that, but it's easy to see because we've obviously got media, we've got footage. I think it's probably similar with other teams, but yeah, it's a difficult one for Cali Braves. But I am looking forward to seeing them. I quite like Cali Braves, so we'll wait and see. Moving on to our final game, University of Stirling versus Bonnyrigg Rose at Forthbank. It could be interesting, to be honest, but I think I said it a few weeks ago. Bonnyrigg Rose, similar to Kelty, when you look at these sort of the top three, or the top four rather, Bonnyrigg, Kelty, BSC, sometimes East Stirlingshire. I think if you look at anyone that they're playing, you tend to put them as favourites, and I think Bonnyrigg will be favourites for that one.
I'd side with you there. Yeah, I think Bonnyrigg are going to be favourites. However, do you know what? This is a potential banana slip sort of game for Bonnyrigg. I think University Stirling can do really well against the bigger teams. They haven't been able so far to really to shut it down and take any points, but they play extremely well when they do. And I think they've got a chance, University Stirling. There's not a lot of teams that I can see Bonnyrigg slipping up to. But if they are going to slip up to anyone, University Stirling's potentially one of the teams. I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome of that one, absolutely.
Moving on to plugs, I'll let you go first, mate.
Right, so you can find me on Twitter at Sped and Shaun. Don't do a lot of Lowland catch-up stuff on there, to be honest, but you can find me on there.
You can find me at Rampant FM on Twitter. The Catchup is at Official Catchup on Twitter, and obviously on Facebook at Lowland League Catchup. Pretty decent run through, mate. It's good that you're back. Obviously, it's been a while. It's been a while for all three of us, to be honest. But we'll go into next week. Obviously, another sort of full fixture card plus the Bonnyrigg Rose Bonus Cup game. Looking forward to going over that. We obviously want to thank everyone that listens, the gaffers, the players, the fans, everyone that's involved in the clubs, people like George Fraser, the league, for their support. And we'll be back next week.
See you later.
See you soon.